going to be opening this video a little bit differently than I normally do, because this week, the US figure skating community experienced a tragedy that we have not experienced in a very long time. On the night of Wednesday, January 29th, 2025, an American Airlines flight collided with a Black Hawk helicopter while landing at Reagan International Airport in Washington, D.C., and over 60 people who were on board the flight, along with the helicopter, all tragically lost their lives in this accident. Amongst the victims were a group of skaters and coaches on their way home from the U.S. Figure Skating National Training Camp held in Wichita, Kansas, in conjunction with the U.S. National Figure Skating Championships. These skaters just had probably the most amazing week of their life. This national training camp is an invitational camp where you have to place high up at your sectional championships in order to be invited. It is a developmental camp for young skaters who are the future of skating, the future Olympic champions, future world champions, and their lives were tragically ended after a week of celebration and training. I did not know any of these victims, as I've been fairly removed from the figure skating community for a few years, and this was also from skaters on the East Coast, and I live on the West Coast. However, this runs deep. The figure skating community holds a very special bond with the entire world of figure skating, and these kids were kids. They were young. They were talented. They were the future of not just our sport, but of the world. And their lives were just taken so quickly and horrifically. As a figure skater, I know the depths of the bonds that you have with your fellow training mates, with your coaches. And my heart just breaks for the families and the friends of these victims. It's going to take a very long time for not just the US figure skating community, but the figure skating community as a whole to heal from this, if we ever really can. So I just ask that you all join me in sending up prayers. And if you are able, I am putting a GoFundMe in the description of this video for the victims' families as they try to pick the pieces back up from losing their children, their husbands, their wives, their coaches, their family, their friends. I will be donating 100% of the money made off of this video today to this GoFundMe in order to support these victims' families. It's going to take a while to pick the pieces back up from this, but I hope that today's video can bring joy to everyone who maybe is feeling the pain of this horrific loss in the figure skating community this week. I don't know what the average competitive score is at that level in Japan, so we'll see. We're building up a rivalry here, I can see. You need to get over your obsession with not letting adults help you. You you do skate on your own. That is true. Your coach can't get out there and skate with you. Alright, let's see how this goes. I wonder if we'll get the final results this episode. Okay. She looks very determined. Very different styles, that's for sure. Good single axel. Yeah, a lot of height. Good single lutz. Oh, she didn't get her combination. And then she's probably too young to really do the math in her head and know when to add the combo somewhere else. Yeah. Is she going to be able to do it? Uh-oh. So a lot of times in programs, you have 3 jump combinations in high levels. She probably only has the opportunity to do 2 jump combinations, but sometimes the first planned combination, the first jump in it goes wrong and you cannot get the combination off because of a multitude of different reasons. Seasoned skaters will know when to add it. There's a lot of rules that I'm not going to get into right now that make it difficult to know when to throw a combo because you're only allowed to repeat jumps so many times. Otherwise, you just get a big fat 0 for it. So there's a lot of math that goes on in your head if you miss your original combination. But it's usually only seasoned skaters that can really think on their feet and get that combination off on a different jump. In the case of I think what's happening to her, which I haven't seen, so maybe I paused it a little bit early. If you don't practice making mistakes, like let's say every time you run your program, it's absolutely perfect and nothing goes wrong. If you do make a mistake in competition, you are way less likely to be able to add the combo somewhere else when you're not used to that. So there is some skaters, even if they're consistent skaters in practice and always can do a clean program, they will sometimes specifically practice their program by pretending they made a mistake on a jump and then having to add it somewhere else to make sure they add it to the correct jump to get that combination. So combos are a big deal in skating. You do not want to miss them because they are worth so many points. It's worth a lot of points because it's so high difficulty. You literally don't get to do anything in between a jump. You literally just jump, you land, and then you instantly reload and jump into another jump. So those are very difficult to pull off. But if you're really good in practice and then you miss it in competition, the likelihood that you'll be able to add it somewhere else gets really low because you're not in a situation that you're used to. Don't give up. Yeah. And it's a big combo if it's a axle combo. You want to redo everything? That's a very real feeling. Many times when we have a bad skate, we just want to do over. Like you finish and you're like, I just want to start over. Just give me another shot. She's doing another double sow. She probably can't. It's probably against the rules. There are so many small rules, and that's what makes it so hard when you accidentally don't do a combo on a jump trying to tack it onto something else. You have to be able to do very quick math, and she probably just isn't ready for that yet. So I would assume in this level, she's not able to repeat any jumps. So she's going to get 0 for that second jump. Is what I would assume. Just one event completely changes her. Everything can change the moment you get out there on competitive ice. It's such a different feeling than practice. So that's why she doesn't want to trust adults. There's not inherently wrong with that. It is a very independent sport. Unless you go pairs or ice dance. Oh? I thought they were still gonna give it to her. Wow, Inori won, didn't she? You're too young to have a rivalry. Just skate because you love it. Winning is... It definitely feels good to win, but winning isn't everything, and you're not going to win every single one. Aww. Cute. Oh, they're besties now. Sometimes just one iffy competition can turn you into that. Are we getting to the higher levels? Hikaru's there, I was gonna say. That really fun side note, I remember my coaches used to have all kinds of rules when it came to competing. You could only get there a certain amount of time early because of how tiring it would be, and I always hated it because I wanted to go watch my friends, but they would be like, no, you need to stay like at the hotel if we traveled for it, or at home. Get there like an hour and a half early so you can check in, warm up, and skate, and not spend a ton of time beforehand. And I always hated it and sometimes pushed back on it. I was a little rebellious at times. But it definitely is something to be said. Spending a day at a competition and then competing definitely drains your energy a little bit. He was awfully mean to her. He doesn't remember. That doesn't surprise me. Wow. Same. I would be doing the same exact thing. Go Hikaru-chan! We would always fight with each other to cheer for our friends if we got to watch. We'd be like, no, I'm louder! Ooh. This is very commonly used music in the world of figure skating. Alright, what we got here? Triplets, double loop. So that's a combo. And a loop off of a jump is harder than a toe loop, because you don't get to put another foot in. You just have to hope and pray that the landing of the first jump was perfect, so you can just immediately jump up and land again. Triple flip. Triple South Cow. Beautiful centering. I like how they even add the ice like flying. Just little details that make me happy. Beelman. I could never do a Beelman. My back was never flexible enough. Nice. So that is called a spiral. I'm sorry, I keep pausing in at bad spots. I like to always use this one because people who don't figure skate are always very confused. So the spiral it's like an arabesque, and it was actually one of my absolute favorite things to do when I was skating because I had very flexible hips, which made it very easy. And it is just one of the most beautiful elements in skating, but it's weird that it's called a spiral when there's no spinning involved, because spiral usually means some kind of circle or spin. So, fun fact, that was called a spiral. But it's not a spin. Got a back camel layover. That was very good. Very, very commonly used skating music. Oh, so it was a triple loop. It's hard to tell the rotations in animation. Yeah, that's an important part, especially at a high level. The more you can make the jumps just come out of nowhere. Wow. Okay. The more you can make the jumps come out of nowhere, just out of steps and choreography, the more points you'll get, because that's a high transition score. The goal is to literally make it look like you jumped out of nowhere, like you were not setting up for one. You got a long ways to go, Inori-chan. Why? I mean, it's very common for not the coach to choreograph. People will travel all over the world to work with specific choreographers that are just choreographers. They're not their coaches. Very common. Did he choreograph it? This freaky looking guy? I mean, obviously he's not actually a bad guy. This is a skating anime. This isn't a battle shonen. Oh. He is not dead. Oh my god. Oh, you might, oh no. Oh god. Shindemasen. Oh But everyone has concussions. Yeah, who is that? Mm. After competing? So is he her coach actually, or is he her choreographer? Hmm. Well, he's a real downer. Okay, so he is her coach. Okay, then. It's intense. Okay. What was his name? June? So it seems like he has a very similar mindset to the general idea that you have to be super young to start skating. And there is still some merit behind what he's saying. However, I think what Inori is proving is that some skaters really can pick it up when they're a little bit older and pick it up fast. But it was good to see Inori win her first competition. That's definitely a little confidence boost that will help her continue to be very inspired, I would say, and she can really continue to work hard. That's just like a good way to start out a competition. I would say there's something to be said about not winning your first one, because when you win your first one, especially at her age, it's like there's this dopamine rush where you don't ever want to not feel that again, and it can become actually more difficult the later on you get if you don't win everything, which you're not going to win everything. So it'd be interesting to see how she handles the pressure of winning her first competition and where she's going to go from there. Hikaru just seems like a very talented skater. I guess she did a triple combo. I couldn't tell with the rotations, but doing any combo with a triple loop at the end is one of the most difficult things you can do. In fact, most senior skaters that you see at the Olympics and on TV will do a triple toe loop off of a jump instead. And that is because the triple loop, you don't get to launch yourself off of the opposite foot that you land on. You can only use the foot that you landed on to just literally jump right back up into the air. It is way more difficult, and you have to be foot perfect on the first jump in the combo to make a loop combo work. So she seems to be very talented, and I'm looking forward to seeing where she goes as well. All in all, the characters in this show are all very intriguing and seem to have very different perspectives of the world of skating and where they're going from here. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all ties together. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment your thoughts on today's episode of Medalist. Also, as a reminder, that GoFundMe is in the description. If you are able, I do ask that you please donate what you can to the families of these victims in this just awful situation. With that, I will see you all next week. Mata ne!